The headline on Drudge is Santorum snaps. This is the last thing. I thought he sounded sleepy in it.
He didn't sound.
Santorum snaps. Obama preferable to Romney. Rick Santorum is with us now. Hello, Rick.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm here in Monroe, Louisiana.
Have you come down off of your tantrum? Apparently, that you're.
Oh, there was no tantrum there. I was saying what I've been saying all the time, which is if we have a choice between Tweedledum and Tweedledee, that the American public is not going to support our nominee. We need a stark contrast, and that's all I was saying. I've said repeatedly, as you've heard me say on this program, I'd vote for whoever the Republican. I'd vote for Ron Paul. I'd vote for whoever the Republican nominee is. But the point is whether voters will vote for someone who doesn't have a clear contrasting vision for this country. And that's the point I was making in that speech. I've made it in every speech that I've been given, and I'll continue to make that point. And Governor Romney, it's funny, I didn't get
but there is a difference
on that afterwards.
But hang on, it's not just the Republican thing. It is that there is a difference between. I mean, Mitt Romney is not now and never has been a member of the Communist Party.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Look, what I'm talking about are the big issues of the day, which is, Obamacare and cap and trade and bailouts and government control of people's lives. And, this is a guy who, who, in my opinion, I mean, if you saw this with his Etch-a-Sketch comment, this is who he'll say whatever he needs to say in front of whatever group he needs to say it in front of to win the election. And that's not going to win this election. I mean, pandering to voters and saying what people want to hear is not going to win. What people want is someone they can trust, someone who knows they have that they want to, as I said the other night, tear Washington bureaucracy out by its roots and do some big changes in Washington. And that's the kind of contrasting vision we need. And that's not what we're getting from the Romney campaign. We get this parsing that we see in all of his positions.
All right, now let me take this a piece at a time. First of all, on the Etch-a-Sketch thing, we're split here in the studio. I think that Romney strikes me as an Etch-a-Sketch guy. I mean, I have. Let me just give you the quote here from Romney. He came out Monday and said, this gas hike trio, the three that are on a mission to drive up the price of gasoline, all energy, so they can finally get their solar and their wind and they're more price competitive. That's what they want to do. And he claimed that people are trying to drive up the price of energy, which is absolutely accurate. However, he said in 2006, I don't think now is the time, and I'm not sure there's going to be a right time for us to encourage the use of more gasoline. I'm very much in favor of people recognizing that high gas prices are just probably here to stay. I mean, so if that's not Etch-a-Sketch, I mean, how do I know what he really believes?
No, that's the point I was trying to make. And, I probably didn't say it as articulately as I needed to say it, but I've been saying it repeatedly, that we need someone who you can trust, someone who provides a contrast, not someone who is just I would make the argument he is better on some issues than Barack Obama. There's no question about it. But on the big issues of the day, of government, control and crushing our economy and our energy, he has just been wrong so much that it makes this a much harder election than it needs to be.
Okay, let me ask you this. Jim DeMint came out yesterday and said he's excited about the idea of Romney being the candidate.
He's the first American known to have said excited and Mitt Romney in the same sentence. It's the first time that's happened in a country of over 300 million people. And now we're putting him in the Guinness Book of World Records.
But he said and that's a pretty big piece. He said, here's a guy who the Tea Party, what happened there?
Was he excited when Mitt Romney went down to Puerto Rico after I said that Puerto Ricans have to learn English in order to be a member of be admitted to statehood, since only 15% of Puerto Ricans speak English? And Mitt Romney, who believes that English should be the official language of our country and is against bilingual education, went to Puerto Rico and in order to get 20 delegates said he would admit Puerto Rico into the union even if nobody spoke English. This is the problem. That's what he said. He said, no, there's no English language requirement for the people of Puerto Rico in order for him to support statehood. Now,
that got very little coverage. That got
it
very
no
little coverage.
But
it
got
will get
huge coverage in Puerto Rico, and the reason he got 80% of the vote is I stood up and said what was the truth, which is there's no way that any state is going to be admitted to the union if people don't speak the language of the country. And that's not that they can't speak another language, but they got to be able to speak English.
Yeah, but you had your shirt off by a pool.
Wait a minute, that's getting dirty now.
Okay.
15 minutes I laid on that lounge. 15 minutes.
You can't do that.
Can I tell you something? I saw
do
that photo. I saw that photo because honestly, I went to for Christmas. I went to Hawaii with my family. I did not go. We stayed right at a hotel right there at the beach. And I did not go to the beach without my shirt on ever because
the rest of the
knew,
people there thank you for that.
I know that. No. And I know what I look like without a shirt on, and I knew. I saw that picture of you. I saw that picture of you, and I thought, "Oh, that's unfortunate." That's just,
it was.
Rick.
I mean, I hope you took that neat.
That bad.
I mean, that's what I'm worried about. With the gastric distress I might have caused people. Watching that photo.
All right. So, let me share something with you that I hadn't even shared with the guys here. In the last 3 weeks, a very, very prominent person has approached me, mainly because he certainly doesn't know me if he approached me with this. And he said, Glenn, you can be the guy that could be the turning point in this election, and you could really help, pick the next president if you could just convince Rick Santorum to drop out. Because and I know it's time for him to drop out, and just convince him to drop out. And I said, I think you're overestimating my Jedi mind trick, and also I believe in divine providence.
Mind meld.
Right, I believe in divine providence. I believe that if it's supposed to happen, and we're living our lives the way we're supposed to, it will happen. But convince the average person that and don't bring in Newt Gingrich, because I love the way nobody's saying this about Newt Gingrich, just you. Convince the people that this is the right thing to do for you to stay in and not start to unify the country behind one candidate.
The best thing we can do right now is to nominate a conservative against Barack Obama. That's what we need to do. That's the best chance for us to win the election, number one. Number two,
wait. Explain that for anybody. Hang on just a sec. Explain that again, why you say that, for anybody who just doesn't understand that.
Well, one time in the last 100 years, a Republican has defeated a Democratic incumbent once. And most of the time when we've run against Democratic incumbents, we've tried to run moderates because we had to win. And of course, we've only won once, Ronald Reagan, when we provided that clear contrast. And that's what we need in this election. You can't win this election unless you get your base and the people of our party, like in 2010, excited about who the nominee is, and that the people who are in the middle, if you will, can share that excitement and like the person that they're voting for and relate to the person they're voting for. That's what happened with Reagan, and he had a clear vision. He had someone who was out there who they could trust and that they could relate to, and that's unfortunately, you look at Governor Romney and he's having troubles on all those fronts, and Governor Romney,
I have a lot of
elections because he's overwhelmingly spending whoever he's running against. That's not going to happen in the general election.
You say that you can't relate to him. I'll have you know, I have many friends who have $50 million houses who enjoy him very much. I have friends who own cars and car dealership and car companies and race teams that relate to him a great deal.
But it's one of those things where I feel like these cries of unify feel to me, and let me know if you agree with this, Rick, does it feel to you the same way as, right now we're saying unify, but it's unify around what? In 2008, the country said change, but change to what? You can't just rally around the verb. You know what I mean? You gotta be the other way.
And we forget that the election in 2008 between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama went down to what? June. It was June, and it was nasty, and they were tearing each other up, and they won.
And they were saying the same thing.
And they said the exact same thing. So just tell people to shut up.
No, here's the other
Shut
important
up.
thing. We have
Drudge
to,
will
we have
report
to
that
realize,
as him
guys,
snapping.
Yeah, we have to realize this: the shorter this race is, the better it is for the Republican Party. Why? Because Obama's going to have the media at a huge money advantage, and he will not be able to unleash that money advantage or the media on the nominee until we have a nominee. And if once a nominee is quote decided, and if it's decided early, then Barack Obama has literally hundreds of millions of dollars he can start just pounding away at the Republican candidate, and that Republican candidate is going to be hitting back with a pea shooter. We wait until the fall to have a nominee. Then we'll have all of our forces and all of their forces. Yeah, they'll be able to outspend us, but it'll be diminishing returns after a while. There'll be so much money concentrated in such a short a period of time. In a sense, their money advantages is negated. Their media advantage is negated. That we want this election. We want this election to be short. We want it to be 2 months. We want it to be focused instead of a drawn-out process where they can just destroy the Republican nominee over the course of the next 5 months.
But really, do you think he could do better than Joe Biden as a VP if he were to win?
Can you do worse?
No.
No, I don't think you can.
I don't think you
I
can.
wanted to really put some thought into that, but no, I don't think you can. Thank you very much, Rick. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the opportunity.
Going to win Louisiana tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could help him do that by going to ricksantorum.com.
Do you have to end every interview by giving his website?
This is the worst. Just the worst.
Somebody has to. He didn't do it. So
It's true. He's not shilling for himself enough, apparently.
You know, it really bothered me when this individual came to me and said, you do that. Isn't that the kind of stuff that we hate? Isn't that the kind of stuff that is bad? The backroom deals?
It does happen. Everybody knows that. But I feel like, it's someone who doesn't know you well enough to know that you would never do that. And it also is someone who doesn't know Rick Santorum well enough because he's not going to listen to you or anybody else. He's going to stay in the race as long as he feels like it's the right thing to do.
Him. That's one reason why I like him. He did go down to Puerto Rico, and he did say that because it's consistent. That's what he believes. And so he said it, even though it cost him the race. That's what he did.
Yeah. This is what sucks about primaries because I like Mitt Romney. I think he seems like a nice guy. I think he's really smart. I think he does a lot of good things. I like Rick Santorum. It's like everyone you get in these fights where it's just constant, everyone going back and forth, and it's like
we're really not enemies.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we're not enemies.
Not at all.
Although I think we've created some, which is not necessarily. But you know what? Rick can't be the president because we like him. And there's just no way that we could have a president that actually likes us.
Now we're setting a new precedent here.
We were at the airport.
This is a brand new precedent we're setting.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We were at the airport yesterday, and we were talking about the race. And I just looked at Pat, and I said, Romney will hate us by the time he would get into office. So he's got to be the guy. He's just got to hate us by that time.